Hey, what is up, everybody? Good morning. It is Wednesday, July 28th. We're almost at the end of a wild month of NFTs. So much has happened. And, as I said at the beginning of this week is just going to be monumentous. I think it's going to be the wildest one that we've had so far. I don't know about next week, but I really do think that this week is going to just be like the fireworks. It's going to be the craziness. It's going to be when we see things go nuts and sell out, and there's going to be announcements, there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, and we've certainly seen that. The last 42 hours or 48 hours, and the last couple drops that we've seen have been good, and they've been bad, and we've have things that I like and things that I don't like. So we'll get into those, then look at the market. Some quick questions from our community this morning. Jameson asking, generative avatars, have they peaked? And are now a dying trend, or are they a fixture of the NFT sector that will be here to stay? If the latter, will we see variations that generate more/less success than past projects through varying the number of items included? So Jameson, great question. I think profile photo projects are something that'll be kind of like a historic fixture in NFT sector. Just because of how they're used, and they're such like a community signifier. If I have a punk as a profile photo on Twitter, it will continue to be like a great identifier of and what kind of click and social network do I run in. So I do think so. I think that they stick around. I think the number will be interesting. We've seen projects like Gutter Cats be successful with 3,000. We've also seen projects be successful 10,000 time and time again. The only time I can see that increasing is if we have a flood of new people into these projects that are trying to get into the space, but they can't, and we see sellouts. And obviously, the demand is there. We do see these kind of sellouts happening. I think somebody probably needs to do analysis on people joining the space on a day-to-day basis. How many are buying new projects? That wallet analysis was really good to see that there really are a core, 15,000 people buying and selling these primary projects. And then in the bigger scope, there's only 50,000 of these very, 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 very active people. And in the bigger scheme, there's less than 250,000 people buying, NFTs on a weekly kind of basis. So, it's an interesting question from are they going to stick around? Yes, but I think there has to be innovation, and I think the quality is going to have to change. The cash grabs that are making money right now probably won't be in 2 months. I think people are going to keep increasing expectations. They're going to want to see, if I'm paying for a profile photo and I'm going to give you $500, it better have an insanely high quality, a good roadmap, and some sort of utility besides, hey, it's just a profile photo. That's my opinion. Another great question here. What all to look for when planning to invest in an upcoming NFT project? And I'll kind of touch on that later, that first question there, which is I look for things that say long-term, high quality. The team is not thinking, hey, when we sell out, we'll have 100 ETH coming in and we'll be able to go buy the punks we wanted. The Discord community, are they active? Is it chilly? Are they trying to figure out what the community wants? Are they asking questions that are, long-term questions? Is the content that they're putting out tell the story? Is there actual, heart and emotion behind the project? Or is it just, hey, we thought people would buy goats with 3D glasses on them, and yeah, the artwork's cool, buy them. So I certainly do look for, does it have DeFi? Is it quality? What is the utility? Is it likely to appreciate because of that? That's how I kind of analyze projects. I also look at projects from the standpoint of, if the risk is too high, but I think it's something worth buying, I won't buy an initial mint. I will step back, wait for secondary to roll through, watch what secondary does. I might lose some profit on that, but it does give me a chance to let the market kind of show, okay, here's how people feel. Great example is with the Wizards project. I minted some initial ones, had high hopes, but that was a little bit if I had waited and put in that same amount of ETH on the secondary, I could have swept the floor and I'd have, 10 to 15 instead of only 2. So I think, patience is also a good kind of like secondary answer to this question of, if I find something that doesn't quite meet those kind of criteria that I set, well, first off, if it doesn't meet the criteria, don't emotionally convince yourself. Stick to your criteria, watch what the secondary does, and then if your criteria that weren't met you still think the project has potential, and the secondary is saying like, hey, there's something kind of here. And when I say look at the secondary, don't look at it like an hour. Like, look a day or 2 or 3 after. Watch, let the dust settle, and then kind of go from there. So that's how I'm approaching that. And then a last question from Don asking, have you minted Stoner Cats TV? If yes, then why? If not, then why? The answer is not. I have not minted Stoner Cats TV. The whole reason around me not minting strictly comes from I don't chase FOMO. I'm a very, very disciplined buyer from a standpoint of, if it doesn't meet my criteria and it doesn't feel right to me, from a, purely how are the creators thinking, I will not buy. So, let's say the secondary tells a different story and there's some announcements that come out that can change, but at least how the cookie crumbles and where we stand now, I do not like the optics of the project. I did not like how they handled the community. I did not like how the launches went. I thought they were asking far too much and not providing enough value back to buyers. I particularly look for those projects that they say, hey, we're going to sell you something for 0.1, but the value of this is far higher. Like, you will not be able to buy one of these for 0.1 ever again. We understand that we're taking money off the table for ourselves so that the customers, the people that want to be part of our community, can win. And I don't think there's enough money on the table. Like, I really just don't see there being a profitable way with these Stoner Cats. I could be wrong, but we'll see. I guess to continue our discussion with those Stoner Cats, Stoner Cats are releasing like hey, like, thank you for buying. We're so sorry. Like, they didn't say like, we're so sorry. They just said like, hey, thanks for buying, and we made a lot of money, and thank you. But they didn't like apologize for the shit show that they had. They didn't apologize for losing $800,000 in failed transactions in gas because of the minting process. There's just an enormous amount of money lost because of how they did this and the hype. To give you guys an idea, somebody paid 5.8 ETH and used up 20% of that, 20% of a block in gas, 20% of a block in gas for a failed transaction trying to mint 20 Stoner Cats. It's ridiculous. Pulling up this transaction to look very quickly. Look at the gas limit, or where's the GUI? If I can find it, I'm losing my mind here. So like transaction fee 5.8 ETH, and it was canceled. I'm trying to see how much was used, but like, it's just crazy. Like, the insanity around what we're seeing with the project just felt like very FOMO. It didn't feel clean and polished. It just felt just FOMO, and there were big names involved, and people wanted to be involved with, like, buy because there's big names. And I don't believe that that's a strong investment thesis because there's celebrities involved. Another wild thing out of Stoner Cats is somebody paid 50 ETH for this grandma. People not being able to believe it. 50 ETH sale coming in, now listed at 96 ETH. Stoner 3020 going for 50 about 14 hours ago. Yeah, so 15 hours ago. I don't know if that's real. We've had this discussion before of people and projects going back and purchasing their own stuff for 10x of what normally should go for, just to create FOMO back into the project and kind of like spark the secondary. But yeah, that did happen. And then Beanie making a comment that Stoner Cats generated $3.5 million in gas fees. So minting out all of the Stoner Cats $3.5 million in gas fees for miners. So, much of it was on failed transactions because of poorly written minting contract, he says. I think it's a combination of a bunch of things, but it's just not good. Like it's one of those situations where the only people who won in the minting process were the creators because they sold out and they made money, and the miners. I don't think the customers in the community won in this process. That can change. That's my opinion. I know, taking a hard stance opinion like this on a project is could be detrimental, and I try to stay neutral, but I'm just being straight with you guys as a community, and viewers and listeners, that I don't think that the way Cats unfolded is healthy or good for the community. Going forward, the Vogu still having some issues and bumps in the road. After the 7,777th mint, the contract continued allowing people to interact with that contract. So they ended up paying for tokens without receiving them. I'm not sure if the Vogu is going to help them out, but actually it is. They are going to review each case independently and help people out. That's how you do it. But it's just another example. Like the Vogu and Cats had bumps in the road at every turn over the last 48 hours. Cats obviously having some bigger bumps in the road, more like walls in the road and potholes in the road. But the Vogu everybody wanted it. It seems high quality. It seems like a long-term kind of project to some people. And I think that's why we're seeing, such kind of like FOMO into that project. So, again, just examples of things as a community, as buyers, as creators, as people that want to launch projects, look at these two projects, the Vogu and Cats, and try to understand how you can learn from it. If you weren't awake late last night, Gary Vee and Archick tweeting and pushing out this project, World of Women, 10,000 generative profile photos of females. And this project sold out after those tweets came to light. They cost 0.07 each. I'm not sure where the secondary is. We'll take a look at it in a minute. But certainly a project to be aware of after those tweets of endorsement from Gary and Archick came out. A big announcement that was hugely awaited was Bored Ape Yacht Club announcing that they've partnered We Are Round 21 to send every wallet holder of a Bored Ape Kennel Club dog a special basketball NFT. So it's this animated NFT of a ball bouncing and spinning around, and then it just says, it's a collaboration between the two companies. My hard take here is that it's something, and it's definitely gotten a blowback from the community who are waiting for a bigger announcement for dogs. Looking at the roadmap 2.0 from Bored Ape Yacht Club, it's aware that dogs are not a primary part of the ecosystem. And I think I've been a little clear about this. Like, it's a just way to be part of the Bored Ape Yacht Club community in a way for a much cheaper price. It is not the same as owning an ape. And there's still, I think, announcements and some sort of kind of like way that having a dog and a ape is beneficial or rewarded in the future. But we don't know. But a lot of people were like being very speculative on what this announcement will be. I think that the market was priced up, and we'll take a look at what the secondary for apes or for the Bored Ape Kennel Club looks like. Yesterday, obviously, we saw prices rising, and I don't think that is the case. Well, I know it's not the case for them right now. So the community wishing they had a bigger announcement, but you can't complain if you get something. Everybody's speculating. If your speculation's wrong, you can't be mad at the project. They're still providing value to you. Secondary for the currency, which is the Hearst project, is opening up today. So I believe today is the first day you can claim as an NFT or claim as a physical. I don't know when those physicals actually ship out, but today being the 28th, 7 days after applications ended, they've announced that the secondary and I guess decision process will open up Certainly stay, keep your ears to the ground. I'm expecting the secondary to be kind of hot here for people who couldn't get them. The question has been, is it hot because the people who couldn't get them were like, hey, I think I can make money on this? Or is it hot because people were like, I want to put a Hearst on my wall in my kitchen, and for $2,000, that seems like a pretty fair deal to me. So let's see. Like it's one of those. It's going to be a very interesting project to watch. Stoner Cats, Vogu, Hearst and Bored Ape Kennel Club being like the four huge ones that we'll see this week. Still waiting on Meta Hero stuff. Looking at the market overall, Art Blocks still kind of being a king right now. Bored Ape Yacht Club, I think, is kind of chilling out from that Kennel Club news, and people are, I think, either taking profits. Just looking across the market here, nothing too insane on the top of the top. Crypto Beast doing, just volume like usual. Cool Cats down to 0.55. That floor is dropping more and more. Meebits floor dropping a little more. Pug's Comic floor dropping a little more. It looks like a lot of floors are down. If I'm being honest, I could be missing something across the spectrum here, but it does look like more and more floors are falling, and that there is no kind of like, hey, I need to buy all the NFTs right now. So yeah, we'll take a look at a couple projects individually, just so that we can get a sense for what's going on within each of them. Art Blocks Curated, obviously, being one that we've noticed frothy. After seeing the Stoner Cats sell out, though, and I'll give some love to here, is that, okay, if people are going to pay 0.35 and, we see all these profile photo projects selling out, paying 0.6 for an Inspiral maybe isn't such a bad deal. Maybe that is underpriced because that is, high quality art from a high quality collective. Squiggles have pulled back. I think some projects within here have pulled back. I do think there are other projects, such as I've said before, that are generating a lot of want from the community. There are bottleneck projects within here. I think ringers have gotten super hot in the last 48 hours. I think I'm going to pick up a crypto blot myself. Does seem like the crypto blot market is one worth owning. I'm a huge Daim fan. I've bought stuff from him, and I hold another piece of his artworks. But the crypto blots definitely do seem like they haven't gotten as much love as they should have yet. The floor on the crypto blots currently sitting at 0.4. So I think this is one of the lower curated projects. I believe there's probably, it might be like 1,000 of these. I have to look. But there's only 240 for sale right now. And, it would take a while for this floor to go much higher. But, as I've noted, it takes a little bit of FOMO to kick in, and all of a sudden the floor is doubled from where it is if people start buying. So yeah, Art Blocks still continuing to have lots of activity, some prices falling a little bit, but I think we're seeing the entire market have a little bit of floor price pullback. Bored Ape Yacht Club seen at 6.4. The floor looks the same as it always has. I think we're having a little dip here. We might go into a longer period of like lower prices. It's just how it feels. Like on most charts we had spikes, and then we have a pullback, and then we spike up, and then we're probably going to go into a pullback period here. Just looking at the market, how people feel. I think we're getting spread very thin, and lots of projects coming out. So keep an eye on that. Same price activity as every day, between 7 to 10 being the most active. But we are now seeing things sell on Bored Ape Yacht Club for under 6, which is something we haven't seen before in the last couple, the several days, even like into last week. We're still getting some double-digit sales roll through, but just nothing wild. We're not seeing that like huge move into apes like we were before, and I think it's just because people are starting to get priced out. So if you're holding an ape, I think keep holding. at some point an announcement come out, and we'll see things start to get kind of wild from that perspective. If it's good, the community likes it. So looking at Stoner Cats secondary real quick. So initial minting was 0.35. Nobody paid 0.35 with gas. It does look like the secondary is pretty crazy from a what is getting bought up. So we're seeing 0.55s, ones. 0.55 is not. I don't think it is a profitable transaction really for many people. Strictly because like. We'll take a look real quick. This cat just sold for 0.55. Their 5% goes to OpenSea / Stoner Cats. And then that initial minting was 0.355. Well, this is going to be hard to tell. But 0.355, and the transaction fee was 2 ETH. So what is this? 20. So 20 times. So the total transaction value was then, what was that, like 9 ETH then? Yeah, so the transaction value was 9 ETH. So yeah, they're not making serious money there. Their average cost is just under 0.5. That's not good. Like the secondary is just people selling for what they bought it for right now. As I assumed, the official floor right now sitting at 0.53. So the floor is like what the minting price and minting cost was. Do people start trying to get out of this and just say, hey, I don't like what I have, I don't see longevity, I get out and the floor starts collapsing? We haven't seen that kind of FOMO kick in for the floor collapsing yet, but it does seem like the activity side is for the rarer cats, the ones that simply seem to stand out are the human characters. We've seen one for 50, there's one for 20, and then the rest of these just being sold at the floor really for what they were bought at. And then anything that I think is like a little rare or different, selling for like 1 ETH. But yeah, we'll see how the dust settles. Like I said in the beginning of this video, don't buy now if you're still not fully convinced. Give it a couple days, see where this settles. The floor is not going anywhere fast, I don't think. I think lots of people picked up, bags of 20. The person that we looked at first, they spent 9 ETH, and they're just kind of get out of positions, reduce risk on the table. And then like right here, obviously this person bought a bunch and is just trying to get rid of them at the floor for anything they don't think is valuable. It's it was a lottery gamble. You spent 9 ETH and you hope that you would get something worth 50 in there, and you could pocket the rest. Bored Ape Kennel Club collapsing after that announcement. People were hoping for more. They didn't get it, and then they kind of threw a tantrum, I guess. Essentially, the floor is down. The floor is the only place being bought up, and then only some rare furs like this one selling for 5.55, selling oh my god, not fuzzy. A static noise fur selling here. It comes down to fur and aesthetics for most people. This dog with properties of the space pack, happy, beanie, and cigarette. The space pack being a very rare trait. Going for how many? Going for 5.5 ETH. Space pack one that we haven't seen before, so at 5.9 or 0.59%. Yeah, I mean like. As far as the dogs go, they're certainly going to be a soft market. So if you want to get a dog and pick one up, give it a little bit here. I think you'll see the market bottom out. Maybe around 1 or a little under 1. I'm curious. I know there was a bet with I think it was Nate Alex around the dogs and the price and Meebits. So we'll have to see where that is and where that bet lies right now. I'm sure. It'll be interesting to see that play out. If it's not Nate Alex and Pranksy, I wonder who it is. If you know who it is, let me know below. I'm trying to remember. So Vogu floor price at 0.57. this is if you want to get into it and buy, give it a little bit, but it does look like people are buying the floor pretty hard here. As far as like activity, you know, there's not everything's pretty much the same. So I think there's the first and the second part to this drop. Yeah, the Vogu just had some bumps in the road. I think otherwise it would have been, people would have been happy with the launch of the project. So we'll keep an eye on that floor over the next few days. ViewFriends floor not moving much, still in the mid fours. Cores getting bought up in the threes. Some rarer ones going. It's the same thing with ViewFriends. Just the liquidity being on the floors, but it does look like volume is dropping off over the last few days here. Does that mean prices are about to get soft on these as well? The whole market looks the same. Volume is down and pricing is down. Crypto Beast crossing 1,000 Ethereum total volume traded. Floor now sitting at 0.23, so that's about where we've seen it over the last few days. All the buying currently at the floor right now. Not seeing anything go for a lot. Maybe lower numbered eggs going for a lot, but no, not even that. So yeah, Crypto Beast currently sitting at the 0.25. Let's see how this plays out over as the project advances and goes forward. Here's a 200 going for 1.7. Wow, very interesting. Yeah, so certainly those lower numbered eggs going for what seems to be more, but it needs to be in like the sub 300 range. If you have a sub 1,000, not pulling in the money. Here's a 350 going for 2. So like I said, those lower ones are the only thing that we see going for more. And obviously there's packs of 10 of these eggs that are going for more. Meebit floor currently sitting at 1.45. That is, just been soft. There must have been a huge sale because we're seeing the price spike. Here we go. 3 hours ago, a 25 ETH sale coming in for Meebit number 1400. This sale being for this zombie face shirt. Very cool. Great kind of pickup for whoever bought this. I know that is a well sought after shirt. The Punk Tee being a 0.13% rarity trait. Great looking punk. Good pickup to whoever bought this. Hopefully you're watching. So great pickup. Then we saw an 18 ETH purchase for another Meebit here. And then just looking through lots of floor pickups. Meebits is the same story every day. Like, the floor gets bought pretty hard. People are getting in. They want to have, 2 or 3. They believe Meebits are going to pump at some point. So, if you think Meebits are going to appreciate, give it some time. Let the floor settle out here. We might go a little bit lower to 1. If we do hit a 1 ETH floor, that might be where I pick up 1 or 2 additionally just to have. But we will see. Like, there could be an announcement for Larva Labs that sends us higher. FOMO clicks in again, and we see the floor rise right back up to 2. We've seen it happen once before. It's almost this, pump up, consolidation, pump up, consolidation, pump up, consolidation cycle that we see with a lot of these projects. You just don't want to buy on that last pump or like on that last consolidation before it starts going down and down and down. Cool Cats NFT, it's still at 0.55. Nothing crazy here. Just a low number going for 1.77. Nothing really going on with the Cats. Still like the Cats. This might be a long-term hold before we see some real price action again. The only time we saw that real kind of like, not FOMO in, but that real rise was when that collab came out with the Ghost. Punk's Comics pulling back from just over 1 ETH to just under 1 ETH to 0.95 on the floor. Seen a few roll in here. Not seeing any low mint numbers sell for a premium. It seems to be just on the floor. So if you're looking for to flip your low mint, they're likely going to sit right now. I do have a few low mints that I have listed. I don't expect them to sell anytime soon, just because it doesn't look like the market is appreciating them. It will be cool though for, I think, once the comics come out and there are physicals to see the physicals of people say, yeah, I have an official, authentically, this is number 200. So we'll keep an eye on the comics. Definitely announcements to come there. I've mentioned this project a bunch. We have seen, like I said, the floor slowly creeping up. The floor was down at like 0.05. The floor is now to 0.1. And I can see this floor continuing to rise. It does seem like there's some people buying into this hard. Forgotten Rune Wizards, I guess like Vault or whoever's aping into these, buying hard, it looks like this morning. But yeah, people definitely making some bags and trying to stay up to date. I'm sure the community here is buzzing around the details with this project and wanting to know what's going to happen in the future. Real quick, hopping into Punks for sale, floor at now 22 ETH. Floor still has a couple good looking Punks there. Like I said, I just expect this floor to be just slowly nibbled at and start just getting eaten up, and we slowly move back into the mid 20s. Over the last 24 hours, seen a 3D Punk go for sale, a white hair, cowboy hat. The last 24 hours, just more activity on the Punks. Like the Punks are just being bought up. Seeing a Smile go for 36 ETH, great purchase. 3D Gang for 40 ETH. So we're still seeing that, the floor is 22 now. The 22 to 30 range is kind of like, the lower, sought after traits, and stuff that aren't kind of like a flex or clout. If you want something that looks a little bit better, you got to go in the 30 to 40 range. And then if you want something that's like cool, you're likely in the 40 to 60 range to pick up something, that's not insane expensive, but it has some cool factor to it. I will note we haven't seen any huge high ticket, several hundred ETH sales happen in the Punks ecosystem in a couple days here, which is interesting. Just means that that market is a little bit less liquid. And I've said this every time: if you have a Punk and you're worried about liquidity and being able to get out of out of an asset that is, quote unquote, an illiquid asset by definition, then, buying on the floor does not only allow you to be able to, go and sell at the floor and hope somebody picks it up, but also use some other services that allow you to sell your Punk for ETH or send it to a pool. There's other options there. Looking at the crypto market overall, the crypto market currently up 5%. We have Ethereum not moving much over the last 24 hours. The rest of the market appreciating. Bitcoin up 4%. So Bitcoin almost back to 40,000, up 33% from its 30,000 area lows. Ethereum just kind of chilling out here. I'm curious what we'll see. Like I said, the August 4th announcement around it coming up soon, so that could have some price impact. But yeah, right now we're just kind of chilling with Ethereum, steady increase, Bitcoin up, rest of the market appreciating as well. So keep an eye on that. There are some trading channels that Ethereum is kind of bouncing around in still, nothing broken out. So we could go up, we could go down. I don't know. Do your own research, make an informed choice. And I hope you guys make money, because that is obviously, that's a win-win for everybody. You guys make money, and usually that goes back into the ecosystem. You guys buy NFTs, or it supports your family. So with that said, guys, that is today's show. I hope this was helpful and I provide a little bit of value to you all. I hope that we can cover these next couple of days in more depth, looking at those kind of three main projects we saw in the highlighted news with Bored Ape Yacht Club's dogs, as well as Vogu and Stoner Cats. We'll keep an eye on those over the next couple of days. With that said, I will catch you guys tomorrow on the next one.